Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another wonderful episode of From the Outer Reaches, a wrestling podcast. The Trios team is back once again. I'm Daniel, joined by my two tag team partners.
You boys, Zach.
David again.
We are here to talk about this past week. So we are in post elimination chamber slash the greatest betrayal since Julius Caesar felt Brutus stab him in the back. And it's been an interesting week. I think it is. We've come some new storylines have developed, and I'm excited to see where they're going. And I will say, for as much as everybody has complained about Triple H's storytelling for some aspects of it, I think that they have found their groove in a couple others.
Mhm.
I'm definitely excited to see what happens with WrestleMania. So let's review and some big title changes actually
Yes.
that we will talk about.
Who called it?
You did, yeah.
Boy.
We're very impressed. Good job, David. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Raw, which started with a bang. CM Punk coming out. I know. I liked CM Punk. I did. Like, I knew that he was cool. Like, I got it. But I always knew that like Punk was like Zach's dude. So that's why I
Yeah.
really. But that promo he cut made me I'm a true believer of the temple.
The man of the people.
That was fantastic. Holy shit, that was amazing.
Yeah, I think that's what gets people with Punk is you see that one promo and you go, oh yeah, there it is, I get it.
Yeah.
He came out hot on Monday.
He did.
That was great. What is it? He called Dwayne a fraud. I liked that was good. And
Dwayne and Cena,
John,
he just was calling out.
I know Dwayne. I like that he made fun of how he always hits his arm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, his like goosebumps.
Yeah, that
was
was
a
a
little
good one.
mini fridge, probably right before he comes out, sticks his arm in it.
I like The Rock and I get what he's trying to do, but yeah, there are some moments where you're kind of like, okay, this is a little
It's a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? I did some deep diving on CM Punk and John's feud for this, and I was generally I liked a lot of the callbacks. I remember it was the big one where he's like yelling at John Laurinaitis and Triple H, and John's there because they're gonna sign that contract, and he talks about how John like he had some match and John made a passing comment of like, oh, I thought you gave up on yourself. And boy, CM Punk has held on to that for the past 15 fucking years. Rightfully so.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like that it came back up again in his promo of like, no, you gave up, you gave up on all these people. Look at this child crying.
Look at him. Oh, he's in tears. Look what you did, John.
So I think John Cena did the Aaron from Attack on Titan move, and he's gonna become the enemy to make Cody the hero.
100%.
I think that's how it's gonna be.
Yeah, because you beat John now, like that's huge. Because not only is that kind of like a symbolic passing of the torch, it means a lot more if John's a heel. Now if only we get. I'm still really curious to see if people will boo John.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't think out of hate. Like
no,
it's not
no,
gonna be like, it's gonna be like
No.
just as the bit, but it's not gonna be as loud as like New Day or any. It's just gonna be like, oh, we boo 'cause
John.
He's a bad guy.
I don't know, man. I think it's almost like John turning heel. I'm not trying to make this political, but I remember like in Vincent the documentary, he was like, everything we do kind of reflects the politics of the world today.
Yeah.
And I think Cena turning heel is kind of like a metaphor. Like people are gonna attach to it,
Yeah.
right? As the Golden Knight has fallen, and I think because he came out or CM Punk came out and was cutting stuff, and they came out I started to hear like a lot of Cena sucks chants.
Yeah.
So I think he might. I might not be like true hate. Like nobody's gonna like hold a picture of him like being on a rope.
And that's I guess what I meant. Like he's still gonna be. He's so beloved.
But he's also gonna be the most hated man out there, honestly.
Well, like at peak Cena, right? There was always the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" chants.
Yeah,
I could see those coming back and those just being really loud. Like
probably
I could see those being
more so on the Cena sucks. I assume.
Yeah, but I could see those being thunderous because he used to because he didn't really care. He just wanted people to like cheer it.
Noise,
So people would just cheer it just because it was fun to like.
Any reaction's a good reaction in wrestling.
So I think that could be really loud. I 100% see that coming back for WrestleMania and it being like deafeningly loud. So
I think too. I know everybody's kind of predicting it's going to be CM Punk, Seth, Roman, but I think if Punk comes out as the face of he might theoretically. This is kind of maybe extreme, but I know because I know Cody's the target of being pushed. He might be the guy. Like he will be the person who will be the people's champion in a sense. Because you have Cody, who's like you're I believe in America. Like I'm Mr.
yeah.
Democracy. But CM Punk is like pipe bomb. Let's
Well, yeah, like
put the black mask on.
Yeah,
what if they do Cena wins the belt, but Punk wins it back?
that could be cool.
I don't know.
I mean, is it safe to say that Punk is more over than Cody?
Well, and also it's like, I mean, he's been in a lot of big storylines recently. He's been very popular. He's getting all the chance. And not to take away from Cody, but why not? And he doesn't need to hold it for a long time, but
No,
he could.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to wet everybody's whistle, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's gonna sell shirts and it's gonna get people in seats, and then whoever takes it after him, maybe it's John and him fight one more time before John retires. I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, dog, I'm already gonna buy that Second City Saint T-shirt that I showed Zach. I think
Oh, it's a sick shirt.
so.
I
Um,
I think no matter what happens, it serves to make Cody Rhodes more interesting. And I
mhm.
think that's the big win overall here is no matter where they go with this, whoever wins it, no matter what happens, Cody will get interesting. I was telling Daniel this last week. I don't think you were there, David, but we were talking about how my only fear for Cody in this is if we do a three-way promo battle at some point. I think Cody will get eaten alive by Punk and Cena.
Yeah.
And I feel like it could kind of make him look like a schmuck. So
His promo Friday wasn't bad, but yeah,
yeah, it's
compared to the
not,
other two, he's not going to win. I
no,
want I
yeah.
want John to come out and just drop a rap on Cody so bad.
Oh, it
Just
would be great.
bars.
And that's the thing. I think Cody's individual promos are good. When he has like when it's just him and he can like just do like a speech essentially, that's
yeah.
good. When he has to like one-on-one like rap
Your mama
battle
battle,
someone,
yeah.
yeah. Because that's hard. That's much more difficult to do, right? Because Cena and Punk are two people they don't really give scripts to. They're just
Yeah,
like hit these
off the
points,
cuff.
go. And if you're not good at that and you're trying to like
Keep up.
keep up, that's what happened to you've probably all seen the clip of Roman Reigns when Cena when him and Cena were having a confrontation and Roman forgot his lines. And Cena did this like, oh, I'll wait for you. And he goes, oh, it's called a promo. You might want to learn how to do it. And oh, Roman looked scared. He looked alone.
When that one kid stutters and you go, fuck, it's over. He's
Oh, it's
done.
all
There's
over.
no, kill him now.
I had a
No,
question for the two of you.
yeah.
Mhm.
Who's got a better we'll call it a promo like a
Ooh.
1v1 like Zach was referencing, Gunther or Cody? You put them in a ring because I think Gunther's can cut some real good.
Gunther.
I think, yeah, I would say Gunther. I think Gunther cuts the kind of promo Cody would do really well against
Yeah.
because Cody plays like Rocky and Gunther is just Ivan Drago
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, true.
in a suit,
Yeah.
like which I think is a good transition. We'll talk a little bit about Gunther right now. And I told Zach we didn't get any responses because I think the magic kind of died down at that point. But there was a person on TikTok who was like, "What is a unpopular opinion that people will get upset about?" And my comment was is that Gunther is doing all the promo work because
He's working hard.
Hmm.
Triple H knows or at least feels or is reading everybody's comments that Jay can't cut promos.
Yeah.
See, but I'm also like, but put him out there so at least he learns to or figures it out, or
Yeah.
give him a
He's
Paul Heyman.
38.
But give him a Paul Heyman then. Like, there's got to
Yeah.
be somebody that,
Yeah.
hey, put them on the mic to cover for Jay.
But it's almost like okay, so which transitions into Gunther versus Otis for us. And
Do you want to talk about Seth and CM first? I don't want
oh
to,
yeah,
Yeah.
since I know that's big.
Yeah.
that was that was a brawl. That was
That was good.
they do a good job. I know Zach has mentioned before that
Yeah.
people like that they fight that they really didn't like each other for a while.
Yeah.
and they really do a good job of. I genuinely believe that they still don't like each other.
Yeah.
They really don't fuck with each other in that way at all. So, good job. It was great. I think
Yeah.
watching it with my girlfriend, she's like, "Oh, they're actually like trying to hold them back now," and I'm like, "Yeah, this feels
It
real."
didn't look like
Yeah.
the fake holding back because sometimes when they do that stuff, I just sit there and go like,
Oh, they're not. Yeah.
They're
you
just
gotta
they're pass
actually
blocking.
make
Yeah.
them hold you. Don't like pretend, like don't play pretend. Actually make them hold you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And I think sometimes the way that looks so fake is people are trying to hold back Brock Lesnar, and it's like like
He's
you can't
he's
really
he,
do that.
Have
yeah.
somebody just grapple a
Yeah.
leg, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
make it.
Exactly.
It is hard to hold him. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
No. Exactly. And yeah, but no, that was it was a great segment, and they're going to this Monday tomorrow. After this airs, there's going to be a steel cage match between Punk and Rollins, which
We'll
more
end
or
the
less
feud.
is going to end the feud one way or another, and I think that's going to be an absolute banger.
I don't think it's gonna end it.
You
I
don't think
think
it's going
this
to end
runs
it,
all the way into WrestleMania.
which would be sick too.
It well, even if it's like quote unquote ended, it's gonna respark at WrestleMania
Yeah,
somehow.
Yeah,
somehow, some way.
I think for CM Punk, two paths exist for him. One is going to be the Seth Roman him in a three way. John Cena Cody
In the
CM
three way that
Punk
way.
in a,
Yeah.
that's those are the two diverging paths that I see happening. Just because he's called out The Rock, he's called
Hmm.
out John. You can't not respond like from a character point of view. You cannot have Rock and John not respond to that.
They have to.
That was that was the dude from Rohan banging people's shield like against people's swords, telling them it's a red day coming.
Yeah.
Like you got to do something to respond to that because he's rallied the people against you.
Oh, thought exploded in my brain palace.
Oh,
Fellas.
What if Seth and Punk, they're going. It's looking kind of obvious that Punk is gonna win, right?
oh.
Rock's music hits.
Oh no.
And
Travis
Rock,
Scott comes out.
yeah, Rock, yeah. And Rock somehow sabotages Punk, letting Rollins win. And he's like, no, this is what like talk shit get hit kind of a thing. Like,
Forces the ref to like disqualify CM or something.
yeah. But I don't know if they go with that or not. Because then I don't feel like Seth would want to win like that. So then you could set Seth being mad at winning like that, and then you could have I don't know what they're gonna do, but they could do that. They could have like that be retribution. Like, no, you can't talk to me that way. Can't talk to me about that way in my company. I'm gonna like make life hell for you if you do this. That could be kind of a interesting wrinkle in there to kind of like get that
Yeah.
feud still going.
No, that is good. I think so. I think you got to keep pumping life in it because it wrestle season the road to WrestleMania show it's almost like the playoffs, right? It really
Mhm.
shows who's the real ones and who's kind of like, okay, well, this still need to work.
Yeah,
And I think those four guys, Seth, CM Punk, Cody, John, are gonna be the engine that
They're all the faces. They're
hmm,
on the poster
yeah.
already.
yeah,
They're gonna be the machine that run the WrestleMania is gonna run through
yeah.
right now. But it's a beautiful time.
Very good time.
It's a very good. I texted David. I'm like, David, you picked a hell of a time to
Honestly, though,
Would you
follow.
guys say this is like a new renaissance for
yes,
wrestling at
Yeah,
the moment? Like
hmm,
we're in a new age, you could say,
yes,
for
I think
post
so.
yes,
COVID.
I think so. I think WWE and Triple H accepting that they are a storytelling company
yeah,
now. It's not just, and I think they're getting it, which is what made okay. It all comes back to this, Zach. We know
yeah,
this. That's what made Lucha fun, though, is
yeah,
that this there was conflicts that were told through these little vignettes, and then they were solved in the ring,
yeah.
and it told the rest of the story in the ring rather than
Yeah, it was just an extension of what was going on because you were interested to see how the story played out, and the wrestling was a way to get resolutions.
yeah, rather than a
Yes.
kung fu scene.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lucha, not to skip
Uh oh.
over Gunther, Chad Gable. Did you guys see?
In the
Is he good? I
box? What's in
want
the
him to be a
box?
luchador,
I
like
think
so
he will.
bad. I
I
want
think
him
it's
to
the
be the
mask.
American luchador.
He has to become the thing that he swore to destroy.
I, I was watching Raw, and my girlfriend walked in and said, well, she's like, what is going on? Because it was just Chad Gable walking around Mexico. And I'm like, he's trying to defeat the
Right?
luchadors, babe.
Pentagon is undefeatable. He sold his soul to his
He's
Dark
like, no,
Master.
this nice Mexican man is giving him a magical box.
Literally, the comments on the video on YouTube, it's like, why does this feel like it's just Lucha Underground?
Yep.
That's what it felt. That is what Lucha Underground always felt like. That like weird like filter tint. Like
Yeah. That
uh,
weird filter tint and like you kind of going, okay, this person was given a shitty script.
yeah.
Well,
And
and
they're
just that
just
little bit of comedy of like gives them one, and then gives them another one,
another one.
gives them another,
Because
like
Yeah.
just to pay them. I was like, oh my god.
That's what Lucha Underground was.
yeah,
Except you had like Johnny Mundo.
I'm just so excited for him to get back. I enjoy Chad Gable.
I
I feel
do
like he's
too.
solid.
I enjoy Chad Gable a lot. He's a lot
Yeah.
like I know the joke is he's like new Kurt Angle, but he really fills that void. I think with someone who can be funny, he can be menacing, he can actually wrestle really well. Like you watch him, and you go, oh, you are really
Good
He
at
can do
this.
good.
this.
He can
Yeah.
be a good face. He can be a good heel. I think he is a top guy.
Hmm.
I think he's sitting in kind of a mid card spot, but I think eventually we are going to see him be a top guy because I think he can do it all. So I'm gonna that's gonna be my big like perspective buy is that I think at some point Chad Gable is gonna be a top guy.
I want to see him and Dom. And maybe
Hmm.
that's
Oh,
when Ray's gonna retire. Chad just demolishes Ray or something, and then Dom has to like turn
like
face to protect his dad or
Like
something.
Palpatine killing David or Darth Vader.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
absolutely.
I have to throw him into the pit.
Ah!
Which thankfully Chad and his evilness was also ties into Gunther. He wrestled Otis
Poor Otis, dude.
after Gunther made a mockery of Tozawa.
Poor Tozawa too.
But
Yeah,
I was telling Zach what I see what they're doing with Gunther is that he keeps picking his fights with the losers, right? The gimmick wrestlers.
yeah,
Yeah.
And they put up a bigger fight than he expects.
yeah,
So like slowly but surely he's like, oh, okay. Like I'm gonna teach you respect, but like they're much tougher than he originally thought. He thought all of these were gonna be squash matches.
yeah,
But Otis and Tozawa have like, for 5 minutes or whatever, like, oh my god, they might do it.
yeah,
And eventually it'll lead to Jay and him going like, oh, like maybe kind of realizing like, oh, maybe Jay could be a threat.
yeah.
Do you think tomorrow Gunther fights what's the name in Alpha Academy? Is it Maxine? Is that her name?
That would be the first
Could you
intergender I've seen
imagine?
in
It's
a
like
very long time.
Maxine.
Maxine.
You.
You,
He'll probably like threaten to like choke her out or something,
Yeah.
like to complete his trifecta of evilness.
yeah,
And then
Although I wonder
Jay will
if
come out.
because Jay got beat up by who? A Town Under, right?
Yeah,
So maybe that'll be instead of like Gunther fight, it's like Jay's now gonna fight them before WrestleMania. I don't know.
yeah,
I like Austin Theory. I feel like I'm
yeah.
in this small minority who goes, no, Austin Theory's good.
Oh, so I like it. No, yeah,
And they just and then they pushed him and he didn't get any pop. He was flat like a soda and then just
I hope my soda's not flat.
yeah. He was the
Just not good on the mic, or just he wasn't getting any
he cut
reception.
he cut a promo on Cena and Cena just it ended and you looked at him and went, that's rough, dog.
that's right. Oh, sorry, buddy. It's like
Starting him on Cena, huh?
yeah,
He
It's like
tried
cutting
to,
during like OG Rock on the mic.
he said John said something about like you're basically a baby, like a baby face pretender or something like that. And Theory just, when that kid
Nothing.
gets befuddled,
And you,
he did that, and it was one of those moments where you immediately,
That's where you just drop the mic and walk
Yeah.
out as
Yeah.
John. You're just like, I'm done.
it was that touchdown. You go, fuck, okay, they're gonna lose the game. Like that's how it felt.
yeah,
Never had a chance. Um, speaking of people who, unlike that, we had Ivy Nile and Lyra Valkyria, and boy, they are making Valkyria work this title, dude. She has
Yeah.
wrestled, I think, every week for the past 3 weeks.
For the
weeks.
title, right? It's
For the
been all
title,
title
yeah.
matches. Yeah, I know. I also
But-
feel bad for Ivy. I kind of want her to win, even though I know she's a heel, but it's like she's put on some good matches.
yeah,
Yeah, I think so. I think she is. Like I said, I know I remember talking about that they're a little top heavy in terms of their storytelling, but it feels like the mid card now is really getting some love leading into it.
Mm-hmm.
Banger match. Valkyria's tough. She really likes to do those suplexes on the concrete kind of
Yeah.
moves. That's tough. Not a lot of people like doing those,
No.
but she's been good. She's interesting. I think it's a good title run for her, and she's done a good job of putting her opponents up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all in all, I'm pleased. I'd say like a B level title run so far, much better than Shinsuke's.
Yeah.
Shinsuke, they took all the sugar out of that soda. It's not,
Yeah. Real fast.
Bit of a
but yeah,
snoozer.
a bit of a snoozer. But we'll talk about that one in a second, and then we have the Ludwig Kaiser and Pentagon are going to wrestle again at I think at New York City. I
Building
think
a
I
rivalry there. I'm kind of down for it.
Yeah, it's fun.
and then I'm excited for. I think Pentagon is good. I really think Raw is the stronger of the two
Yeah.
at this moment. Raw
Yeah.
is just
Mm-hmm.
we're on Netflix.
Go hard.
What if we tried really hard on that? And honestly, the last match is the Chad Gable in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
However, the War Raiders versus the Creed Brothers, and I'm gonna say that might have been my match of the night.
It was a good match. It was fun.
The War Raiders are much more athletic
Yes.
Than
than
you
they
think, right?
than they have any right to be.
Yeah.
You're like
The
looking
Creed,
up stats. You're like, how much does he weigh? And he
Anyway,
did
he's a
what?
big boy.
those are big dudes doing like handstands and stuff. Like wow.
Flips.
Mm-hmm. What a renaissance for them. They were the Viking Raiders, I think, right before David really got into it. They were
Didn't
Mm-hmm.
oh, what's the announcer? I always forget his name with Pat.
Michael Cole.
Michael Cole. He
Yeah.
called them the Viking, whatever. He's like, I
Yeah.
mean the War
The War
Raiders.
Raiders.
Wow, they were snooze fest as the Viking Raiders,
Absolutely.
and just like like WWE, like Raw on Netflix, just arose from the flames.
Were their outfits any different, or they just had helmets on before? Like, let's be honest. Like,
They wore like fur lined loincloths and
Yeah.
had like Viking blue, like Viking like Braveheart
Paint.
paint. Yeah,
They were a relic of like the Hulk Hogan days. Like you could have seen those bad boys out there with like Earthquake and
Typhoon.
Tsunami and
Yeah,
yeah, like when they're wrestling the Shockmaster. Like that's and we
yeah.
would have been like, no, they just unthawed from Antarctica and they're here to wrestle. And you're like, why?
But they've added some good. I think they might be at least on Raw. I know the Judgment Day is a tag team, but they might be
Mhm.
like my favorite. Just to because wrestling is a beautiful thing, right? When you watch people become better than like kind of what the bar was set for them, it's
Yeah.
always really awesome to see that. Oh, okay, they
Oh
are
yeah, every
good.
time.
They are good. So I'm glad for that. And that was Raw. I definitely think actually no, it's not over.
I'm like,
We
don't you're
There's
skipping the
the big
biggest
one.
match
I
of the
did
night.
I did miss the two big ones. Judgment Day and Braun Breaker. That's I think Finn's gonna leave eventually. It's
Yeah.
coming.
Hmm.
I'm curious because
He
Dom
works for The
talked.
Rock. He's gonna destroy the Judgment Day. I feel it.
Yeah.
I'm
That would
probably
be good.
wrong, but
It
why
makes
not?
sense.
Yeah.
It's not a bad like.
I just think why not? Especially now, like again, if Cody loses and if the storyline that I would like to see goes, and you've got CM Punk, Seth, they're still hating each other, and Cody's got to like bring the band back together to fight this
Yeah.
Bigger
force.
This
monster.
Like,
ball.
but like, could you? I
Yeah.
mean, I guess they kind of did CM Punk versus Roman teaming up, and they don't like each other,
Yeah.
but they could do something similar again, where Cody's like, "I'll wrestle for it, that you'll help me," or something.
Absolutely.
That would be fun.
He's like having to wrestle everybody to like join him. It's like an anime arc. He's like,
Yeah, and he's got to
I will
collect.
beat you and collect you onto my team.
Yeah.
you will be my friend.
Ash
Da,
catching.
da, 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 da.
But yeah, so Braun Breaker seems like he's beefing with the Judgment Day, and then lastly, like that's all fun and fine and dandy, but the real meat on the bone that we want to talk about that I almost skipped over accidentally
What?
is
Did
is
you forget it was gonna come on?
for no, not in real life, but we're talking about it right now. I was like, oh yeah, that
Oh,
was a
okay.
big deal. No, I stayed up for that. That one,
Solid.
me and my girlfriend sat and watched, and she was invested. And that is Io and Rhea Ripley for the women's title. And lo and behold, motherfucker, David called it.
Which is a huge win for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for it though.
Yeah,
She
no,
deserves
honestly.
it. She
Yeah, I know
deserves
she
it.
really does.
But now I think in my mind, I think Io retains, and then Bianca Rhea beef after WrestleMania. Or I guess they could have Bianca win and then they still beef, but I think give Rhea a break from the belt
The
for a bit.
title, yeah.
Title, excuse me.
I mean, no matter what happens, I think it's more interesting now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I'm excited. I talked to Zach a little bit just because he was watching it too, and I when Rhea lost, you could see kind of like her character development,
Hmm.
right? And so she's like, "Oh, I was so worried about Bianca. It led me to losing." Like, I think they're like Bianca or Io wins, and you hear Rhea, and they're like, "Oh fuck!" really loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told Zach that I'm excited because it feels like Rhea has been cutting what I call the Catwoman promo. I see David's look, and David understands this. Will understand this in a second because he's a comic book guy too. How many times in the comics have we seen Catwoman and Black Cat come out, right? And Batman and Spider Man, well, what are you doing? And then they say something extremely seductive, and then the next panel they're like in bed together, and they're just like,
And you're just like, nice.
"Fuck!"
Yes.
Every time I fall
Times.
for it, and that's what it feels like. Like at that point, her character has gotten to like she comes out, she's mommy, all the
Hmm.
boys, the woofing begins, all that shit.
Awooga,
Yeah,
Yeah.
awooga.
Eyes pop out of head.
and I feel like she's finally gonna come out and kind of like reflect on like, oh, I let this success get to my head. Right? She's posting thirst traps on Instagram. And I'm not,
Yeah.
she knows what she's doing. I'm
Hey,
not taking
there's
anything
a
away from
market. There's a
Rhea
market.
Yeah.
at all. I just think from a character perspective, it gives her depth of understanding where she's at in the story and like reflecting on that and realizing that, like, yeah, like coming out and posing and doing the stomp, that's all
Hmm.
great and fine and dandy. But there are legit athletes in here that I like am losing against.
Yeah.
And I didn't take EO seriously.
Yeah.
And it's gonna go from
That's
there.
good character development.
I think so. I think that's where it's
Yeah.
going. I could be completely wrong, but
Yeah.
we'll
Why not?
mark it.
Hey, we're here to just throw out hot takes.
Yeah.
We're gonna be on first take on Monday, so
Speaking of hot takes, I wanted to kind of dry ask this question. I'm gonna let you think
uh,
about it real fast, David. I asked kind of Zach this, but what does it take to be the wrestling greatest of all time? So that's the question I'm posing for the world. What are the requirements to be entered into the GOAT conversation for wrestling? Nah, I know this like other sports have different parameters, right?
is this just for me?
This is for both everybody. We can
Okay.
all
Yeah.
kind of, but that's the thought that I want to throw out right now. We'll talk about SmackDown a little bit, and go from there. SmackDown was good, I think. I didn't again Raw.
Raw's really solid.
Raw's the cool older brother who wears a leather jacket
Yeah.
and
It's
smokes
new
a
and
cigarette.
shiny. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
he smokes a cigarette, and you're like, oh fuck yeah.
Randy had a
Um,
pretty solid start for the show. It wasn't bad.
yeah,
Like, it was good.
I like I like Tiffany versus Piper and Chelsea. Like I like that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, it was
bit.
good too.
Yeah.
Chelsea's a great. Like I said, she gets her character. Piper gets her character.
Yeah.
Um, and Tiffany is just they're just a good springboard for her to kind of be taken more seriously.
Mhm.
I do have a question for you guys. Do you
Yeah.
feel like Gunther and Charlotte Flair are very similar, like character types, but like on the men's and the women's? Because like
Interesting.
Charlotte coming out and beating up Tiffany and like yelling at her, and it just kind of felt very
Yes.
Gunther-esque to me.
Hmm.
I
And she
no,
might have done it first, but just overall, like they seem like very similar characters.
I very much agree with that, and I think people will like Charlotte more if she really leans into that.
Yeah.
Because before Charlotte has always sat in a weird spot where she's not always like been a full on
Like a
heel.
heel.
She's been kind of like a tweener, right? But people are like, I don't want to cheer for you because you just kind of like show up, say you're better than everybody. You just insert yourself into title matches. But if they kind of make that a heel characteristic, I think that has a lot of legs because then it's like, no, she does. I
Yeah.
do show up because
It's
I'm
almost like a
better than
Gunther where it's like,
yeah,
yeah, he's just the best. That's why
I'm
he can say what he says.
exactly. I'm just better than you. That's why I get to put myself in the title picture. Like, why wouldn't they want me here? And I feel like I really like that as like an evil villain archetype. They are good and they are better than most
Yeah.
people.
It's the
That's why
Bond
they
thing.
have this confidence. So you've got to
Hmm.
like, someone's going to have to cut them down by their overconfidence. And that's fun to me. So I think, yes, they are quite similar.
Yeah, I really think Charlotte thought people were gonna miss her.
Hmm.
but people were tired of her inserting herself. So I think
Yeah.
she needs to flip it and become
Mhm.
like that. Like
Just double down.
Yeah,
Like
just
look
double
at
down on her.
Gunther. Like
Yeah.
when I felt like when him and Jay started to kind of beef because and people weren't happy Jay got it, but like he just is double down to really show like no, don't root for me. You should be cheering for Jay kind of thing. I think
Yeah.
that's
mhm.
why they're doing it. But it's just like, okay, Gunther knows this is my role. I need to like
Hmm.
get this guy pushed up and it'll
Yeah,
help me because the match will be bigger.
I think
Absolutely.
Gunther's gonna pick a child tomorrow.
You
I will
This
kill
boy.
this. I'll kill this child, Jey Uso. Where are
I'll,
you?
I'll wrestle your stable boy.
I have put Jey Uso's son in a cage above a
Cage.
shark bath.
Ha 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 ha. Well, how will
Haha.
you defeat me, Jay? And it's just him going yeet.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's fun, but when you're fighting an evil villain, you can't yeet.
Yeah.
Give him a
It,
manager.
it's
If you
like
think he's not good on the mic, just give him a manager. Let
I
them
just
do
Hmm.
it.
listen. I'll probably die on that hill, but it's a lot like Ricky Bobby. You guys remember Talladega Nights?
Hmm.
And Ricky's they keep yelling shake and bake, and what's his name? John Gerard is like, what is that? Is that the epilepsy? What is that you just
Yes.
did? That's what it feels like. He's just like yeet, and Gunther's like, what are we doing? What
What do
is
we do?
this?
I'm not doing that.
I'm not eating. I did like when Gunther last week he's like I'm gonna be like Jay, and he did the entrance to the
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
Oh
and
yeah.
he's like, you all smell, which is
And see,
fair.
that's where I'm like,
Yeah.
I just feel like him and Charlotte Flair are very
Uh,
similar. They play a similar
Yeah.
role.
Absolutely.
I think Charlotte was expecting a big return. I think Gunther gets it. I think Charlotte needed to kind of get booed really hard to go, oh,
And
I
Yeah.
I
should
feel
just be
like
evil.
now she's starting to be like, okay, like this is the heel
Yes.
run. This is what we're doing.
They both
Exactly.
are also very big for their
Oh really?
Hmm.
divisions.
How
Gunther,
how tall is Charlotte Flair? Let me Google
She's
it.
tall.
let's find out with the power of the internet, everybody.
Not the first man to Google how tall Charlotte is.
5'10".
Oh, how did you find that so quick?
When you type in
Oh,
Charlotte,
5'10".
yeah,
Did you type in height? I just typed in her name.
yeah, you type in her height, it'll tell you.
Her
But yeah,
age
five.
popped up, 38. So,
That seems to be the average. All these big
Yeah.
name stars, you got to be around 37, 38 to
Yeah.
be alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they both are like they have size on their side. That's what made Rhea so interesting was that Rhea was physically fit. So like, yeah, Charlotte's big, but like Rhea can pick her up and throw her and
Exactly.
all that kind of stuff. I'm excited for that. Everybody's favorite thing on SmackDown, tag team.
I mean, it wasn't
Uh,
horrible. I thought the triple threat match was pretty good.
I love Pretty Deadly. Yes, boy. I
Yes,
love
boy.
Pretty Deadly so fucking much. There was a promo, David. You haven't had a chance to see, and it was the not it's not Elton Prince. It's the other one. I totally forget his name. And he had hurt his arm, and the
Yeah.
whole promo was that they were working on his leg. So
And
it
he was in a wheelchair.
was, and he like stands up out of the wheelchair, and they're doing like a training montage in like the hospital, like but it's all about his legs instead of his arm. And I like that. I like that level of silliness, but they're good wrestlers.
Hmm.
Their
Yeah.
their whole gimmick is the Eurovision people singers. But I like that. First off, that Pretty Deadly one.
Yes.
I will say Los Garzas from the Legado del Fantasmas are very good. We listen. You need a couple dudes who can do some sick Spanish flies.
That's
Every division needs one. You got to do it. But I think it's gonna be great. I think the Street Profits have made it very interesting with their promo. Again, I waited to talk about this last time, but Angelo Dawkins cut a promo,
big.
and it made me believe in everything that I knew and in my heart. Yes,
Yes.
do that. And I like that the Street Profits gimmick is that they're heels, but they're powered through the power of friendship.
Yeah.
He's like, we see all these tag teams turn like DIY is famous. Champa constantly turns on Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
All the time. Like the scorpion and the frog.
Yeah. Constantly.
And it's nice that they're like, oh, no, we hate everybody, but ours is built on that we're really our friends.
Hmm.
So we're gonna use our friendship of hate to beat all of you. Which I think is kind of fun. And also Montez Ford is aggressively jacked.
Yeah.
And doesn't need to be, but he is. Um which transitions into my God, the great detective. The mystery was solved finally. Naomi and Bianca came out and they cut a promo.
Felt very real, by the way.
I'm gonna say Naomi was in the middle. It got a little like she was trying to remember her lines, and at the
Yeah.
end, when she started yelling at Bianca as she was
Yeah.
leaving, that was great.
Yeah.
Made
I
me
just
bleed.
So,
I sat there and I was like, I feel like she's kind of speaking like the jealousy part. I was like, is she being
was
like
she, is this
honest about
real
something?
or?
Maybe she wasn't actually happy and got it. Storyline was written
Hmm.
because it's easier to write when it's
Yeah.
kind of centered in reality a little bit.
Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely think so. I mean, we've talked about wrestlers having egos.
Hmm.
All of them think. Just imagine you're just dealing with a bunch of actors who
Yeah.
think that they're all Leonardo DiCaprio's,
And not just actors who are really physically fit.
Yeah.
probably bigger than the average actor, and you're like,
Uh,
See, I'm excited though. I think the Jade Naomi like storyline. I think
oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna be it giving me kind of, and again, I guess I'm not trying to compare it to men, but just the two
Hmm.
storyline types. It's like the CM Punk Seth Rollins. Like I feel
Yeah.
like it's gonna have that type of arc of like they could 5 years from now both still be wrestling. It's like no, I hate you.
I agree with that.
you pushed me into a car.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
Like,
I would have a little bit of bitterness towards one of you.
I, yeah.
a little bit.
But I it's funny because we were talking about I think last week or a couple weeks ago how like the women's division feels like they're kind of like losing
Hmm.
some steam and I think Triple H heard that and on the third like
He's
hand
just like,
drop he kept
Yeah.
it up.
Give it. No. Yeah. I know they've really turned it around very quickly.
and maybe because kind of like I think we talked about last week where Triple H was saying it seemed like they were waiting either for Jade to come back, but it was a timing thing. So it was
Hmm.
like maybe that was a storyline that was supposed to be earlier, and since it didn't come, it kind of like everything kind of went
Had to
down.
wait.
And then
Yeah.
they were planning for this spike with probably EO winning and all that, and so it's
Hmm.
just like it's now gone even higher because we had missed that storyline in the
Yeah,
middle.
because
Probably. Yeah.
we had to let it stew for a little bit. Um, Next up is Braun Strowman versus Solo. I do love a good big man slapping man meat.
Solo plus the bloodline.
And the
Yeah.
blood, of course, yeah. I mean, but Braun Strowman is that character you can go, like, no, you probably need all of them.
Yeah. Gotta fight this man, my lord.
I was also surprised that Fatu came out in that.
Yeah.
Like to back up. Like I don't know if it was fully to back up Solo or just to go fight Braun, but
I think,
Interesting wrinkle.
I think so. I think it's gonna be. I think they're gonna do that. Like, I can already see it. Fatu's gonna be like, I'm repping it. I'm repping for the streets. I'm from the streets. I'm doing the work. Like Solo, you really haven't. You've run away since you've lost. And then he's gonna be like, I'm the main man now. And then they're gonna fight it out for
he's going to
some,
be the Rock's bloodline
Yeah.
undercover
yeah,
man.
some random bloodline thing, and then they did, and so yeah, it was cool. I mean, Braun's a toughie. You gotta really give because not a lot of people can suplex him.
I was going to say
No.
you need big boys to fight Braun.
Yeah.
That's a lot of lifting with the legs before
A
you
lot of
throw.
hiya.
Yeah, a lot of that. Don't lift with the back. We're gonna.
How like you guys talked about so when Rey Mysterio was in his prime, like there was a lot of big guys.
Yeah.
So is it just they're kind of like he'll do the up at the top and like flip around and then like
You
flip
know,
them and stuff and like
Yes.
those
tilt,
types of things.
tilt the
Yeah.
whirls. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's literally like an almost like a anime fight or like for like a like for to get more stay in the nerdies on like an assassin or like a rogue type character fighting a
Hmm.
big dude and just kind of like, oh,
I
I'll
also wonder
chop
if
you at the
that's why
knees.
his special move is 619 because he doesn't have to lift anybody. He just
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
which is still cool, like no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah,
But like you think about the industry back then, it's all these like massive dudes. Like I'm not lifting any of those
Yeah. No,
guys.
I'm sure that was definitely a factor of it. He's smaller. He had to think of some sort of like finisher where he could one like use his smaller size fit between the ropes, do that whole thing.
yeah.
It was yeah. I'm sure it was.
Yeah, they did it in Mexico,
Hmm.
and one day
Hmm.
he kind of saw it and was like, and I think kind of that same thought of like, well, I'm wrestling against Kevin Nash.
Hmm.
The Big Show.
Yeah, who? How am I? I can't pick them up, so I have
Yeah.
to chop them down. And yeah, and everybody right, and then you do this.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody gets all frothy at the mouth like Romans. We had Chelsea Green and Meechin in a street fight. I think this is good. Chelsea's
What street
great.
fight?
Uh, was it street fight?
Yes, it was a street fight.
Oh yeah,
Or
it
I'm
was
pretty
a
sure
street
it
fight.
was. They had the
Kendo
sticks,
sticks.
whatever
You always
they're.
gotta have a
Yeah.
good slap with the kendo stick.
Who's the Alba Fire Fury?
Oh,
Whatever her
Alba
name is.
Fire. Let me tell you.
Uh-oh.
No, she was part of this tag team with who's with a woman named Isla Dawn, and I like Isla Dawn. Um,
Was it for
she's
her talent and personality
yeah,
or
she's a
Yeah.
hot redhead with a Scottish accent. I don't know, dude. No,
Oh, they got me.
and their tag team was called the Unholy Union because her Alba Fire's thing is that she's like a wizard, like an evil like warlock. Um,
but
and
is
then
there any like with
no, that
Chelsea
was
Green and
weird.
her, it just was just
That
a
was
random like,
interesting.
why are you helping?
Yeah, so I think they're gonna develop that storyline a little bit. But they released
Okay.
Isla Dawn, so now
Yeah.
Alba's on her own.
Yeah.
Maybe
Um,
trying to give her somebody else to
uh,
team up with.
I did enjoy that. It was great. Also, Chelsea dressed up as Mick Foley.
And I like that.
So she was wearing like the Cactus Jack outfit, like the big flannel and the that shirt that he would wear that says "Wanted Cactus Jack."
That's fun.
And I was like, oh, I get it. I get the reference.
I get that.
I've seen that.
We had Drew McIntyre versus Jimmy. Eh.
I think it was more just a setup for Damien to come out after the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cute. I liked it.
It entertained me,
We
you
were,
little peasants.
we were watching it, and my girlfriend goes, "Is Drew McIntyre attractive?"
It is Drew. Yes.
Yes.
Obviously.
Because she's not like she likes like
It's a
soccer
chest hair,
play
isn't
like
it?
Yeah.
she likes like Latin soccer players. That's
Yeah.
kind of her. It was funny for us watching wrestling and her kind of oh I get it. I get
Drew is.
because she watched Drew do the kip up that he does,
Yeah.
and she went oh
Oh,
Is
he
that the
throws
from
his
your back
majestic
flipping yourself
mane.
up?
Yeah.
yep yeah when he just kicks himself up the ground and he flicks his hair back. She went, I get it.
Dude, if I did that, I'd walk around in those little booty shorts all the time.
Yep. Which is interesting enough leads to the next person that she thought was weirdly attractive, which is LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and versus Shinsuke, and I think they took old Yeller in the back and they shot him twice.
What a nothing run for
Yeah, he really did
holding a
nothing.
title. He just popped in a few times and attacked LA Knight, and I'm like, what are we doing?
what the $1 million question is what is that is that a Shinsuke thing or is it that they just didn't know what to do with him?
I don't think they knew what to do. I also felt like no matter what, it was going to get overshadowed by John. But
Oh yeah,
maybe then
Yeah.
it's like you should have, because he's held the belt what for like a month.
a few
A
months.
while, a few
And
months.
it's
He's
like
had it for a long time.
why haven't we done anything? So, but or maybe they're setting up maybe LA Knight, Gable, or somebody. I don't know.
I think they probably needed somebody just to hold the belt till now. And Shinsuke is very chill with just like being around. And he's essentially in that part of his career where he's like, no, I've kind of done everything I want to do. I just
Yeah.
want to surf. I'll just be here. And they were probably like, yeah,
I'll
are
stay
you
on the
cool?
roster when you need me.
Yeah, are you cool holding the title for a while we kind of like sort some things out and get like other storylines ready to go? He's probably like, yeah,
But I find it weird. It was LA Knight. You take it off LA Knight. You give it back
give
to
it back
LA
to LA
Knight.
Knight. Yeah,
Like just leave it with LA Knight. I don't know. Maybe
it
they thought the
does.
stories were drying up, but
It does seem like they didn't know what to do, but
and that's where
I
maybe
like,
it's like and I don't know if Gable's ever held the belt or the
yeah,
title, but just like give
yeah, you
somebody
need
that
somebody
could
else.
build something because
Yeah,
Gable's got storylines that are outside of a title. So it's like if you put him in a title, other people get involved, and
yeah.
I don't
I
know.
do. I do love my boy LA Knight though. So, and I love Shinsuke too, but I like LA Knight. So,
Yeah, I think it's a toughie, but yeah, it just feels like they were like, well, fuck, what do we have them do?
yeah,
Drop the belt, give him the
Yeah.
belt back, boom.
When
But I guess you could say that the storyline we've talked about with Cody is yes, he's going to drop the belt and then he'll get it back. So I guess it's not unfamiliar, but obviously that's a bigger
yeah. That
title.
and
So
that could have always been the plot, but they just didn't. With everything else going on, they just kind of dropped the ball on that, and it just
yeah,
didn't. They could have got okay, then Shinsuke wins it, then they has a big feud with LA Knight, and then eventually LA Knight will win it back. But maybe they just didn't have enough time on the shows to really properly
Sure.
kind of build that,
We've
and it
got other
just
things going on that have higher precedence than this.
yeah, and then just that and that pan got a little lukewarm, and they couldn't really heat it back up, so you just had to eat what you got.
They're like, hey,
Taco Bell got cold.
Yeah, and he goes, "Fuck, well, we still bought it, so
LA Knight's still selling shirts. Put them
yeah,
back in the
exactly. That's all
title.
we yeah." So that's probably more the probable answer. Is the thought was have Shinsuke win, battle LA Knight, but it just didn't have enough time, enough programming time to really build
Yeah.
that up into a compelling feud whatsoever. So
I just want them to do because Chelsea's the United States champion for the women, right?
yeah,
I
Yeah,
want them to do like a State of the Union with LA Knight and Chelsea.
that would be
Just like
funny.
that
these
would
are
be funny.
things that I'm like, I
Like
know
that
it's
would be
stupid, but it'd be hilarious to have like put a podium out on like
yeah,
Raw and she'll do Raw, he'll do SmackDown, and like this is the state of you could do
that
it
would,
either right before or right after WrestleMania. I think it would be golden. Or
that
at
would be very
WrestleMania. Why
funny.
not?
Yeah,
The big storyline everybody's waiting for is what's going to happen with R Truth and
yeah.
John.
That's that's gonna be Cena's biggest heel moment is when he like beats up R-Truth. That's gonna be the
Well, our truth is wants the nice stuff that The Rock gave, so he's on The
yeah.
Rock's team.
That's true. He
I
could
was
be
there.
good. Kind of up the seriousness for R Truth a little bit, make him be the John Cena's minion.
Yeah,
What,
Like,
what if they go like the Deadpool route and like he just like turns it on, he turns into like a serious person,
yeah, he
that'd
could
be
do
good.
that.
Yeah,
almost like a John, like the face switch where it's just like he's smiling, it's just like
yeah. Because R-Truth can really wrestle too. When he wants to, he
Yeah,
can really wrestle.
and he was
Yeah,
great with like the Miz and all that stuff. So
yeah,
it's there. He just
yeah,
needs a little bit of a push forward.
but
yeah.
at 53, do you think he wants to do that?
He still got it. He still
I'm
looks
not saying
great.
he doesn't have it, but it's
Yeah,
like
Oh, I wish I looked like R Truth. I hope I look like R Truth at 53.
oh
Good
no, I'm
lord.
yeah,
not saying that. I'm just more of like, dude, I've
yeah.
been
Does
doing
he?
this for a long time. It's like Ray. It's like
Yeah,
he's in a decent amount, but how often is he like actually wrestling week to week? Not very often.
I think
Uh,
no matter what, kind of getting inserted into possibly the biggest wrestling storyline and God knows how long, I feel like it would be hard to say no.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, but
cause
no,
yeah, cause you kill R Truth.
yeah,
John Cena immediately becomes the most hated man
yeah,
without any like this cements the evil.
yes,
Did they ever fight like at the heyday of John Cena, or was our truth not
yes.
around? Yeah.
R-Truth was evil. R-Truth was very evil,
Oh,
and
was this
he
before
actually
Comedy Truth?
it was during Comedy Truth. Then he turned evil, and then he actually fought John Cena for the WWE Championship a couple times.
Oh wow. So he's
Yeah,
actually had push a few times.
that was R-Truth's biggest push.
Did
He
he
was
ever get the
no. He
damn?
was in the main event picture, but he wrestled Cena like twice for it. But he was like a major. He was like because he went crazy. So his thing was he was like evil crazy, and you know how he always sings his theme song. When he was evil, he would just come out to silence because he was refusing to sing it,
Oh
and he
my
was just
god.
no, you guys aren't gonna hear my song, and he would
So
just
he's like the
walk out.
Joker basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's funny. I like
yeah,
that. I like when like R Truth.
yeah,
Yeah, he's gonna die. It's gonna be like when Anakin murdered Padme,
yeah. Say, did you do it?
and John's gonna hit him with. He's gonna hit him with the five moves of doom, and on the like right before he does the five knuckle
Yeah,
shuffle, he's gonna like no, and then it's gonna do it, and that's gonna
yeah.
be then the transformation is complete.
Complete. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's talk about this little question I posed in the middle of our discussion, which is so I went on was on TikTok and I saw this guy pose this question. I don't have my phone, otherwise I would shut him out. I'll leave a little when I post this. I'm gonna post a segment for social media, so I'll tag him in it then. Um, but so his hot take was that both The Rock and Stone Cold are not eligible to be considered goats because their full time wrestling career was less than 10 years.
I don't think. I'll
And
go
so
ahead and finish.
so I that was his hot take. I thought that was an interesting perspective, and it led to me texting kind of Zach really quick about it and going like, okay, well, let's talk. Let's what what in your minds are the requirements to be the greatest of all time? I also texted Chris because I know
Yeah.
how much he loves Stone Cold, and I just wanted to bug him on like a Thursday. But yeah, that's the question I'm asking for everybody, both us on our podcast and the people. What are the requirements in your mind that make you go, this guy is a go? Here's X and Y and Z Y.
X, Y, Z. I I would say it's a combination of three things.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it is a combination of in-ring ability, ability to do a good promo, or at least a promo that resonates with a lot of people. And I would put like drawing and merch power. I
Okay.
would consider those like you need the three of those, right? That's why like Cena, you have the combination of he sold a shit ton, he was a huge draw, he was good in the ring. Like I'm not talking about like the great because there are people who are great wrestlers. Ricochet, amazing, amazing wrestler, much better than probably most people in the GOAT conversation. But he has no like charisma. He's not gonna like sell merchandise, draw money. He's not that kind of a guy. So if we put those three together, and this is going back, Hulk Hogan really was the combination of those things. Was he like an amazing in-ring technical wrestler? Not really.
But
Mhm.
at that time, was anybody like
No,
if you
like
compare it to
On
today's
yeah,
lens?
Macho Man might have been the closest to the most
Rick,
technical.
yeah, Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah,
But
Dragon.
he did enough. He told a good in-ring story that people resonated with. For the time on the mic, people ate that shit up. The Hulkamania, the ripping the shirt, the whole thing. Like he was a larger than life character. And then not only did he have a huge run as a face, right? He also had a huge run as a heel in the NWO. And both times were probably the biggest wrestling has ever been as far as like its overall reach, right? As far
Mhm.
as most people watching, ratings and stuff like that. I mean, you could argue now with social media and stuff the reach, but they didn't have that, so you just go off like ratings and stuff like that. So I think in those two instances, is Hulk Hogan a great person? No,
Absolutely not.
absolutely not. But do I think he was kind of when people think of pro wrestler, right?
It's
In your
Hogan.
mind, you just kind of picture like a Hogan.
Hmm.
And the fact he could get that over with that hair,
He'd
just
wet it and shit. That
oh, it's so gross. It's so disgusting.
like wet spaghetti.
But
Wet
yeah,
spaghetti.
but I will say Hogan probably is number one with in my mind Cena number two, uh
Spicy.
Stone Cold at three, and then The Rock probably at four. That's my like if I had to do like and then five gets a little bit more muddy,
Yeah.
but that's my personal ranking. And I will yield my time to the committee.
Want me to go?
I
I
can.
won't be as long because I don't have as much like
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, and I guess I'll round it up for you guys.
I'm obviously, as we've probably
Yeah,
figured out, I haven't watched
that's
as much
yeah.
wrestling as everybody
Mhm.
else. But from what I have watched and from what I know, because I knew a little bit, for me, the greatest of all time would be somebody that, and I wouldn't know. Zach probably has it
Mhm.
nailed. It's probably Hulk, but somebody that like they're the top in wrestling, but not only that, they've gone like well and above that, and they're known in actual like cultural like
Significance.
Mhm.
yes. You look at The Rock, for instance, in his heyday, everyone knew who The Rock was. And maybe it's because he
Mhm.
had already started getting into movies, but they were very like crap movies, but people still knew who The Rock was.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so to me, it doesn't matter how long they wrestled. I think if anything, you could say like how big were the matches they were in, how memorable were the matches? Because you look at we just talked about him, Cactus. What's his name?
Oh, Mick Foley.
Maybe
Mick
Foley, yeah.
Foley. He put his heart and soul. Like
Mhm.
those are people that hey, they're gonna live and die by the business. That to me, that's what I care about. Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
hey, you can win 1,000 titles, but sometimes you don't really care. But the people that are gonna bleed for the company, they're gonna hey, they're willing to put somebody up. Like that's something that I
Yeah.
appreciate as I've watched.
So Hogan is not on your goat list.
Hogan, that is not
Hogan
the
did not
boy.
put anybody over but
No,
himself.
Correct.
you didn't
Yeah,
believe in it, brother.
and you guys would know that I wouldn't. And that's where I was like, he for sure. From what I've gathered, like in the research and trying to learn about wrestling, he did circumvent like the. He was not only well known wrestling, but like in
Yeah,
just you
popular.
know whatever popular media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. Like I couldn't name somebody now that hits that. So, I mean, you could say John Cena, but also he's just been in movies for so long where
Hmm.
everyone kind of
Mm-hmm.
knows. So it's hard for me now because I just don't have enough time where I could sit and be like, oh no, that person.
That one's the
Yeah.
guy.
So,
And it's a little
um,
bit harder now because wrestling is more of a conglomerate, right? I feel like there's less just one guy when before there was like, okay, this is the dude, this is the hero of
there's
our
like 10
anime.
people and like
Exactly.
two
There's like,
people
yeah,
matter. That's it.
Yeah.
exactly. Back in the day, it was like, no, this was like the hero of the anime and everyone else was his sidekick. Now it's more like we've got like 10 people who kind of like, there's not like one just giant mega star like there used to be.
Yeah.
But
There's like a big bubble. And so it's hard to like, some people are going to be at the top of the bubble, but
mhm,
some, like, for the most part, everybody's still like
yeah,
in the center.
exactly.
So I'm in a pickle here
Uh-oh.
because this should like Hogan was all three of them. I'm gonna say Hogan. I don't think was as great of a wrestler as we all like to remember. He was a great.
You did bring up Randy, and I mean,
Yeah,
I knew who Randy Savage was. I mean,
yeah,
maybe from Spider-Man, but
yeah.
and the cream of the crop.
Cream of the
Yeah,
crop.
and his magic tricks. But I would say I think Hogan hits two out of those three. I think
Mhm.
he and I think that's a true skill of a wrestler, right? Okay, you're not as good like technically wrestling, but you can wow you the
Yeah.
shirt right. It's listen, he rips the shirt. Even me, who doesn't
Yeah,
fucking like Hulk Hogan,
you're gonna go,
it hits that like I said. There's like wrestling hits this primal part of like your 12-year-old boy brain. It's like
yeah.
yes,
Yes.
You know, they gave it a little cut, so he
yeah,
had to
Yeah.
take that.
rip it, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But right, but he knew how to play it up. He was,
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think, I would say he's probably one of the top three performers in the ring.
Yeah.
Wrestler, but
Yeah.
for me, the definition I think kind of falls along with David in the sense of like, can you not only can you tell a story outside the ring, can you tell the story in the ring, right? Can you
Yeah.
like sell the injury? Can you, like Rhea, right? Kind of giving
Mhm.
up, like using her like overconfidence to cause her to lose. Like,
Yeah.
can you convince me of that? Um, and I think too the influence outside, not so much maybe the merch sales, but more like how do you affect the zeitgeist of the
Mhm.
world,
Yeah.
so to speak. And obviously John hasn't been full
I was gonna
time
say
for a
you,
few
but you
years.
could say John with all the Make a Wish. Like he was, I guess, well known even
Oh.
before movies. Like he's
Mhm.
everywhere doing this.
Yeah, I mean, who even people who don't like wrestling, you could do this and they'll
And they know.
oh
Yeah.
John, right? I do think it's the Stone Cold thing that he posed was interesting though because Stone Cold really was hot for about 3 years.
Yeah.
That was the 3 years of Stone Cold, right?
Yeah.
But he revolutionized the industry.
Yeah.
And that
So
was
then,
probably another thing I'd say. It's like they defined a era, and
Hmm.
in all the history videos I talk about, guess who's
Yeah.
talked about Stone
So
Cold
cold.
in that era.
Yeah.
That was it.
he probably would like yeah, you had The Rock, but I think
But I think The Rock was after. So it's
Mm.
like Stone Cold set the foundation, and then The
And then The
Rock
Rock.
built the house on top of the foundation.
Yeah.
Stone Cold was almost like Fight Club.
Yeah.
Right? Fight Club is this metaphor for like men fighting against their bosses and the system. And Stone Cold was the living embodiment of that. I get I have no problem if somebody comes up to me and goes, I think Stone Cold's the goat. I get that. That doesn't
Yeah.
bother me in any way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. But yeah, for me, it has to be those two things. Like, how do you affect the cultural zeitgeist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can see people walking around with an Austin 316 and kind of go,
Hmm.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
They might think it's just another Bible verse. You never know.
Like,
Stone Cold 316 says, "I just kicked your ass. I just whipped
ass.
your ass."
Ass.
Um, so I think for me, it'd probably be John.
Yeah.
But I'm not like there's about 4 or 5 wrestlers you could say to me, and I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah. any of those guys, honestly, I'm not gonna argue it. I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna like argue any of those guys because like yeah, I get it. Like I really just at that point I think comes down to like your personal opinion because I don't think there's one you could objectively say.
Yeah,
But
if you're an okay wrestling fan, like if you're a
yeah,
normal wrestling fan, not like like hearing that causes you to want to fight another human being, like because even then, like we really sleep on it, but Ric Flair
Ric Flair.
should be top. I remember we did the Bleach Report list
Hmm.
on our other podcast, and that one they said Bret Hart was one,
Yeah,
which was kind of a surprising pick because usually it's
yeah,
Rock, Stone
yeah,
Cold, John,
yeah.
Hulk. So
Sure.
my personal pick would be John, just because I think it turns into like the LeBron, Jordan, Kobe conversation,
Yeah.
right? Like what generation were you in is really who you
Yeah.
determine your GOAT is.
Hmm.
And that's where it's
But
like taking stats out because stats do matter, but it's
But
also like times are different. They're recording
yeah,
things differently.
yeah.
I don't know.
I
yeah.
because you look at where John's at, and he had good wrestlers,
Hmm.
but nobody was like you went okay. There's an immediate competition for John. John didn't have really a number two.
Triple H, Rand, Punk.
Oh, Punk, yeah, but Punk was a little bit more later
Yeah,
2000s.
yeah. I think Randy for a large portion was kind of like your number two. The Undertaker. The Undertaker's always around.
You could say the
I
Undertaker,
think you could
honestly,
say the Undertaker
Yeah.
too.
because he is somebody that there's a massive human being walking in all black and a hat in the
Yeah,
airport. Like, but that was also his choice. Like, hey,
yeah,
I am the Undertaker, 365
yeah.
rest of my
But you
life.
could, I mean, you could always say the Undertaker. And
Yeah.
if you say the Undertaker's the greatest of all time, I agree with that too.
Yeah.
Because again, he's one of those cultural touchdowns. Everyone knows the Undertaker. Everyone's always known the Undertaker. The Undertaker was never just really like the he was never really the top guy because he was never really a face per se,
Hmm.
but he was always up there. You know,
He's
he's
always a
always
bad, and I feel
yeah.
like he's a thread line through many
Hmm.
of the eras from what the
Mhm.
90s all the
I
way till
mean,
the 2010s.
you saw people lose their shit when that Undertaker gong hit during the Roman Reigns. You know, I lost my shit. You can't you hear that? You go yes.
They got those fog machines whirring real quick.
Oh,
Yeah.
the undead wizard.
Hmm.
And I think, yeah, I mean, like, I think for us, you really could interchange like six or seven guys. And yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
But I guess to sum up the big thing, does longevity is not a requirement for you guys.
I don't think so. No.
So
No.
if I'm trying to think of something.
If I'm a quarterback and I have the greatest season of all time and I win a Super Bowl, but it was only 1 year, I still had the greatest season of all. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
If Logan Paul retired tomorrow, I'd be really bummed, but he may be the greatest of all time if he retired tomorrow.
tomorrow, speaking it into existence, Dave.
I'm just
No, no,
hey,
no. If you
Logan,
listen
Yeah.
if
to
you're
this,
watching,
Shane, you
you
can
would
do
be
it. You
up
can quit.
there in the zeitgeist because you would have done it all. Just if you hang it up, greatest of all time in my book tomorrow.
Easy.
fair.
Also, if we're good to move on to another
Yeah,
point, I
yeah.
Lex Luger, Hall of Fame.
I do. Let's go, Lex.
Good for Lex. I
Yeah.
do feel a little ambivalent about him. I mean, it was a dark time in
Yeah.
wrestling.
What era was he? Because I don't know.
He was around with Macho Man.
He was Macho Man. He
Okay,
was.
that was a
He
little bit of the roids.
Yeah.
I'm not directly blaming him.
Well, yeah,
Miss Elizabeth made her own
everybody.
fucking choices.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Who?
So Macho Man had his manager, who was also his wife at the time.
Yeah.
Her name was Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, this. Okay,
And
I
so
know what you're talking about
after
now.
Randy got weird because he was on drugs and steroids,
Yeah.
she went to start dating Lex, and then when she was with Lex, who was also doing drugs and steroids,
She died, right?
she
Yeah.
started doing drugs. I think it was the drugs that killed her.
Yeah.
And so
Tough.
yeah, and so I'm not. I think that always kind of is always hung up for me personally, like a little bit. And but
Yeah.
like I said, she made her own fucking choices.
Yeah.
She was a grown ass woman. Lex was great. I think probably needs to. Lex is also sadly a good story in terms of what happens with steroids.
Hmm.
Isn't it? Yeah, he's like somewhat paralyzed
Yeah.
because he's been like working at it because he did get up at one point, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can tell.
yeah.
Yeah. Steroids are not. They're not good.
No, don't
Especially
do them,
especially
kids.
steroids paired with coke and alcohol and
And boner pills, I
boner
imagine.
pills is a lot. It's a lot of shit in your body to put it through, and getting hit and fucking falling on your head is just not.
Oh, but I eat a burrito when my blood pressure goes up.
You're gonna tell me that I'm gonna die?
Look at what they went through in the 70s. True iron machine, true machine. But no, I think it's well deserved. He is one of the big names back then. He had some great matches, and I think it added to like he had some great matches with Macho Man because of the Miss Elizabeth
Yeah.
situation. In terms of like her eventually dating him.
It must have been so awkward.
Yeah.
The thing about WWE is don't let them know your personal shit.
I
No.
know. I've seen it in all these like history videos I've watched. I'm like, oh my
They will
God.
use it like I mean, there's the great Edge versus Matt Hardy
Lita.
and Lita, and Matt was the bad guy.
And Matt was the bad guy, and Matt lost. Oh, dude, that fucking blows.
Like, come on, Vince.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of these guys just maybe they weren't like I said the greatest in ring talents, but I think a lot of these guys in like Macho Man and Hulk's era deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Just from we did a copious amount of steroids and coke.
Yeah.
So the next generation knows
Didn't have to.
Don't do it.
did not do it. And it's almost like they had to like fall on this sword to kind of change wrestling.
It's with any sport though. Like any enhancing
That's
drug,
every
they figure it out and they go, "Don't do this."
Yeah. Exactly.
Baseball.
Yeah.
We're talking about you.
Yeah.
Listen, dude. I think Barry needs to go in.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he
be
does.
honest.
Still had to hit it.
It was great times when people were just slamming balls at a ballparks.
I
Everybody
would
wanted to
rather
see
they
it.
were slamming balls. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
So maybe it's
Like-
like, hey Shohei, you wanna?
like you still had to hit all of those balls. Like yes,
He did,
it helped
yeah.
it go further, but like
Yeah. You still gotta hit this thing.
you still got to hit that thing, and
You're
they're
forcing a pitcher
and all
to
the
pitch around
pitchers
you.
were on steroids, so they're throwing it
Yeah.
faster, so it
Oh,
evens out. It's
They
a
had sticky
negative times
stuff
a
back then
negative
too.
equals a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all fair.
The moral of the story is that From the Outer Reaches podcast supports Barry Bonds'
Steroid
induction
use. Barry
and,
Bonds.
and steroid use in case you no don't
Not
do
cheating.
steroids.
Don't
Yeah.
say-
Fuck you, Astros. Just want to say, Astros suck. Sorry.
They had the ball. Barry Bonds had the balls to have some random man in the locker room say put a needle in my butt.
And he said, "Okay."
Although Ashes had to just hit a trash can
Yeah. Be better.
like a Morse code. Yeah. But that is the end of today's episode. I think that's a good.
That's a
How
good
do
ending.
we-
Do steroids, kids.
We'll see you in there, King.
But yeah, no, thank you guys for joining me with this, and you guys let us know what are you what to the two-parters who's your goat, and what are the stipulations for you to have a wrestler enter the goat conversation? Because I think in a weird way, I think wrestling is a weird sports entertainment, right?
Mhm.
It's like saying who's the greatest actor, and you can say
Yeah.
5 different guys, and everybody's kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
And I think wrestling falls in that. If you don't like, if you really get mad about that kind of thing, I think you're taking this way too seriously.
Seriously.
But yeah, I'm excited to see it. Yeah, it's a lot of actuallys. I think, but I'm excited to see what the responses are. I it's almost like a personality test. Who's your favorite wrestler? It really, you find out a lot about a man and a woman
You really do.
who like that kind of stuff. So thank you everybody for listening. The bell is rung. The match is over. Thank you, my tag team partners, for joining me today. We hope to see everybody next week as we discuss more about wrestling and how it keeps us sane, keeps the intrusive thoughts away. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.